set, go, recording.
So I'm speaking with Claire Davis tonight, and Claire was a few years behind me at UNE at St Albert's College, and we've reconnected through my push-up challenge to raise awareness for mental health, and I was challenged to do 25 push-ups over 25 days to raise awareness for mental health. One of my good friends challenged me and said, well, how's that actually raising awareness? So I started delving into some of the details about mental health and researching it. And I found that there was a lot that I didn't understand about mental health. I had no idea about. And as I posted my videos every day for 25 days, I started getting comments from people and contacts from people that I hadn't really connected with for some time. And I found that there was quite a lot of interest in the mental health area. It affects a lot of people. Significant proportions of the population in men and women are affected by mental health issues. And I just found it really interesting looking into the specific interest was in anxiety, depression and PTSD. So I started trying to convey some of those messages to the friends that I have on Facebook. And through that process, I reconnected with Claire, and I found out that Claire works in the area of mental health and in fact works in mental health first aid. So Claire, it's good to reconnect again.
Hi,
and I think that the people that were following the push-up challenge and the mental health awareness aspect, I would be really interested in hearing what you've got to say. You're based in Bristol in the UK. You can just tell us a little bit about that and a little bit about your background. I know that you're tied up in mental health first aid. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it'd be good if you could explain that. And I can't remember you doing psychology at uni, but if you could just tell us a bit about it, and it'd be good just to learn a bit more about mental health.
Yeah. It's been really lovely to reconnect with you, Peter. We met up again at our reunion last year, and just for all the viewers, if ever I call Peter Benny, that was his nickname at uni. So I will slip into that at some time. So mental health first aid. I actually got into the area about 5 years ago because I was training middle managers, and I found that a lot of middle managers were asking me, well, what about the mental health? What about the mental health? So mental health first aid is actually for the workplace, and it's where we give first aid in the workplace for mental health. So you just use the word psychologist. I'm glad you mentioned that word, because I've had a few people say to me, well, you're not a psychologist. You didn't study psychology at uni. No, you don't have to be a psychologist. We are first aiders in the workplace. So we spot the signs, we see it happening, and we act as first aid to give support. So it's like if you broke your leg, you wouldn't actually, as a first aider, x-ray it and fix it. That's what a doctor does, or the radiologist does, the x-ray, then the doctor fixes it. What we do is we spot the signs, and then we give them support so that they can get the professional support that they actually need.
Yeah, right. So in that role, Claire, how do people actually engage you? How do they find out about you? And do they have to be at that extreme point? Towards the end of my push-ups, I started talking about suicide. I'd already covered anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
Do people have to sort of be at that extreme point before you're engaged by? And who engages you? Is it the employer that starts to detect mental health illnesses or concerns in their employees? How does it all work?
Everybody should be looking out for it. So in the workplace, what a lot of big organisations and smaller organisations are doing is training up mental health first aiders. So they have a team of them. I was actually doing a virtual course for a group of them today, and it's a accredited mental health first aid course. And so they are accredited to be the first aiders, to have the conversations, to spot the signs, and they should be working with managers strategically, because the managers are on the front line, so that the managers should be starting the conversations as well. So it should be everybody within the organisation. And some of the larger organisations, the organisation I was training this morning was actually, how many employees do they have? They've got about 400 employees, and they've got
Yeah, right.
10 mental health first aiders, but they are saying that they should have
Really?
more than that. You should have about 1 in 10. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
definitely. Yeah.
So where did where did mental health first aid originate? Where did it kick off? You're in Bristol now in the UK, and
yeah. Well, funnily enough, I was quite proud when I did my training, because guess where it started, Benny?
where?
Australia! It actually originated by a couple called Betty Kitchener and Tony Jorn, and they're from Canberra. And that was actually at the turn of the century. They were going on a dog walk, and they were thinking, well, we've got all these people who are helping with physical first aid. Why don't we have people in organisations who are helping with mental health first aid? So they started it in 2001. And it came to the UK. It was introduced to England in 2007 by the Department of Health, and it's now in 25 countries. So that is, we've got here Mental Health First Aid England. If you all want to look up Mental Health First Aid Australia, it's there in Australia. And there are other companies who are doing accreditations as well. We've got over here St John's Ambulance, we've got Mind, we've got the Red Cross, and NUCO training is another one. So there's a lot of organisations who are offering mental health first aid accreditations now.
Yeah, okay. So yeah. That's really interesting. So having been having a very basic knowledge of mental health issues, and the people that have been following my push-up challenge will know that I did look at I did look at different aspects of excuse me, of anxiety and depression. I looked at men and women and older people, and looking at the different rates of of people that are affected, and then how to recognise the signs and how they're treated. I was just wondering, in the first aid, in the mental first aid, mental health first aid process, how do you go about? How does it actually work? How do you go about assessing people and working out who's best for them to see, and then how does it all work from that point?
This is a challenge that organisations have. So it's getting together the team of the first aiders, getting together the team. The HR department need to put together the team, and some of the bigger organisations actually have mental health HR people or wellbeing HR people. One thing that we work on with a lot of organisations is to use preventative measures. So to actually promote wellbeing, so that we don't get to the stage of anxiety and depression from stress. So I do a lot of workshops on preventative measures and the strategies for organisations. So each organisation is different, and I'm actually working with a group of people at the moment who are working out strategies so that we can actually have a proper process for organisations, because organisations send their staff on this 2-day course and then they don't have a proper process. So that's something in the making that we're working on, but it's working it out strategically. But why don't we you've got lots of questions, Benny, which is fantastic. So why don't we don't want to sort of answer all the questions now. I reckon it'd be lovely if we sort of did this regularly and sort of had a topic for a few minutes a few times a week. How does that sound?
It sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. So if anyone's got any questions, pop them in the comments, and we can, we don't want to be doing half an hour each time.
No.
Why don't we do about 5 minutes a few times a week? And if people have got questions, if we don't know the answers, because it's such a big topic, we could research it for you guys and, find out some facts, because I think the more that we know about it, the more that we can all be proactive, and it doesn't just have to be in the workplace.
I think that would be really useful, because I did get a bit of interest. It didn't exactly go viral because I've only got so many friends, and all my posts are private. But I think there's a genuine interest out there, and people are willing and able to learn more about it. And there've been lots of challenges on Facebook lately to raise awareness, and I think there's a good opportunity for us to follow that up and start putting a bit more information on different mediums. Maybe I've been using Facebook, but I'm sure you're across a lot more social media things and LinkedIn and all the rest of it. So let's do that.
And if anyone wants to like, comment, share, that would be great, because I think the more awareness, you know, one thing that you spoke about, Benny, that I was really interested in, because we don't cover it in the workplace, is mental health in the elderly. You know, it hadn't occurred to me until you mentioned it. So there's so many aspects. It's not just in the workplace. So if you've got any questions, pop them on the comments. But I reckon we've got a shout out to all our mates from Albies College, where we went to uni. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea, and I've definitely had a few special friends from Rob as well. And so Albies and Rob people, I've got lots of friends from both on Facebook, and so special shout out to those people. And hopefully you'll keep watching these catch ups with Claire and myself. I think we'll call it mental health conversation.
Oh, that'll be nice. Yeah, good.
Yeah, let's see what we can do and keep the ball rolling on the awareness side, and I think that'll be great. So, we'll try and do it 2 or 3 times a week, and it'd be good if we can get some feedback on that. And if anyone's got any questions about mental health, that'd be great. Just post them, and we'll do our best to look into them and provide some answers. So that'd be great. Thanks, Claire.
Lovely to see you.
You too.
And we'll see you next week. Okay. Thanks.
Look forward to it. See you, Claire.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.